I'm back. I had the surgery. It's been 2 months since I filmed a new video. I made up all my content and I stored the video on my phone, which is a new iPhone, so it's massive, so it's no problem. And I've been editing and putting the videos out every week, so you guys wouldn't miss an episode. Not that my channel is important or anything, but I guess I just take a little pride in not slacking off. I know it's just I'm retired, but I'm not. Habits are hard to break, right? I'm back. Had the surgery. It's been scary. I want to do this video. I think I'm going to center it on medical tourism in Thailand, obviously, and I'll give you guys an update. It was quite the experience, and a lot of decisions had to be made. So far, nothing says I made the wrong one, and but it was scary. Huge surgery. I'm 60. Getting old for this, for something so massive, and the doctor warned me. He said if I was much older or in not quite as good a shape, he wouldn't do this extensive of a surgery on me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it, but I mean, until you live it, you don't really know the weight of his words, and the recovery's been tough. And I've been recovering several weeks behind schedule. Typically after 4 weeks, you're pretty well all set, 3 to 4 weeks even, and I'm coming up on 8. And I'm just really starting to recover now. There's still, I get bored of talking about my back pain. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, but I'll just say I'm still not quite there. But I think I can make this video today. I'm wearing a brace, and I lay down. I'm still on bed rest throughout most of the day. The boredom is hard. It's just taking 3 months out of your life and just taking an eraser and just saying you're not going to have much this time. But it's an investment, I guess, in my future. So I don't really. It's not that I had a whole lot of choice. I'll walk you through my choices. So having a major surgery in Thailand. So I have fantastic medical care available that I've already paid for back in the States. So why the heck didn't I do that? As I think I've mentioned before, all I got from my doctors there was the same, and literally one guy was just to take out all my hardware and just put in all brand new, the same hardware in the same spot. Now, I'm like, that just seemed obtuse to me. I mean, as a non-medically trained person whatsoever, I have no knowledge. I know that's a terrible idea, and I can see an X-ray, and I can see a badly damaged disc above my old surgical site. As you do spinal surgery, by the way, as problems typically start at the base of the spine, or at usually the second from the bottom. Mine was at the very bottom, which is unusual because that joint is so big it's not supposed to break. Anyways, you have the problems at the bottom. They fuse and fix that, and then you end up chasing. Frequently, people end up chasing and having newer surgeries, going up one extra vertebrae throughout the rest of their old age. It's only one vertebrae at a time versus I just had 3 and 2 discs. But I'm sure it's no fun when you're 70 or 80 years old having that done. So anyways, I could see lots of other problems. I was well aware of pinched nerves, and that's what was radiating all this horrible pain everywhere. And he wasn't talking about any of that. And all I can guess, is to make an educated guess, is the doctor's hands must be tied, and that's obviously got to be the insurance. But they were definitely not free to do whatever they felt would be the best for me. The other option I could have chased, and I decided not to, as I could have researched around the United States and found the one or two top spine places. I said I've got full medical coverage that would be good anywhere in the U.S. So I could have maybe done that and found a specialist that was willing to do more. But the problem is I'm going to have nobody to care for me. And this isn't a dig on anybody, but my kids are adults. They're busy. I don't like to push myself on people, and my son would be the most. Since I live with him, he'd be the most interested and able. But it'd be crowded. It's a small apartment. Basically, the way it's set up, without getting too down the rabbit hole there, it's just that it's a great spot for me to come for a little bit here and there, and that's how I use it. I mean, I do have a room there and everything, but it's a small place, and he's busy, and he's got his life and his schedule, and I want him to be happy and have his independent life. And if dad's hanging out there month after month, I'm sure that gets to be a drag. And that's not my goal, to be a drag to my son, right? That wasn't on my list of things to do. So he isn't really available. So you end up, this is sad, but when you move on, and it isn't just being overseas, overseas has almost got nothing to do with it. And I did have one set of friends, a husband and wife team, that they volunteered. They knew I would have a need, and they volunteered to take me on, and I know they meant it. But again, that's just asking to come and live at someone's house for at least 2 months, at least 6 weeks minimum, where basically, I'm a toddler. I can barely do anything on my own. That's just too much. So I would have, getting back to my point, I would have 3 months hotel stay. I'd be doing this all on my own, which would just suck. I'd be in some strange city somewhere, not knowing anything, going to get any food or anything. I'd be renting a car, and as soon as I can driving, and it just, what a nightmare, right? Versus here having fawning all over me. That's a little better, right? So, and I'll tell you, as far as the medical care quality, the surgeries, I'm not fully healed yet, but so far my back feels entirely different. I mean, they literally took every part of my lower spine, unattached it from all the other stuff, what it used to be attached to, put in a whole bunch of new pieces, removed a whole bunch of stuff, screwed a whole bunch of new hardware in there, and then put in some bone fusion stuff, and the bone is fusing as we speak. It's fusing now, should be, the initial fusion should be done in 1 more month, if I behave myself, and I believe I have. But Dr. Wisharn, I'll put it on the screen, and that's his first name, and I'll put his whole name up. His last name is 20 characters or something, or at least the English translation of it. It's lengthy. Everybody just calls him Dr. Wisharn, so it's his first name. But his description and analysis of my spine and his laying out of his surgical plan to fix me was just head and shoulders beyond the doctors in the U.S. and head and shoulders beyond the other spine specialist clinic that I found here in Thailand, which was highly regarded. And that's, again, these are 2 places all they do. Now, Dr. Wisharn works out of BNH Hospital. That's short for Bangkok Nursing Hospital, that's just their name from back 100 years ago or whatever. But it's BNH. It's in one big giant tall building in the middle of Bangkok, and they're kind of generally regarded as the number 2 or number 3 hospital in all of Thailand. I think it's bomb grade. I'm probably mangling that. If I can research it, I'll throw it on the screen. Is kind of accepted as the number 1. But BNH has this special spine-only surgical center run by Dr. Wisharn, who was the first Thai surgeon to do robotic surgery of the spine, and he's done 3 fellowships in the U.S., so that's 6 years of a study after being a doctor in the U.S., and he came back here. He's often referred to as the top spinal surgeon in Thailand. I'm not interested in arguing that point with anybody. I'm just saying that's his reputation. And so I went there, and I was just very impressed. My gut was screaming at me, this is the guy. This is the guy. I mean, when you get to this age, you get that gut instinct. You've got life experience, and my gut is like, this is where you want to have your surgery, Rob. And it was just under $1 million baht for the whole thing, just barely a hair under. And that's hard to part with that much money because it's cash. And then I had to do the little banking application on my phone and go dink and get a little receipt. And it's like, that hurts. I mean, that is absolutely an amount of money I will notice for years to come. But I needed to put my money where my mouth was. And it just came down to, do I want a nicer bank account, or would I like to have my mobility and some more life back? Because I would just love to have another 10 or 15 years of being mobile and being able to do things. And if this surgery is fully successful, and I'll know probably in another couple of months, then I will be able to return to relatively vigorous activity. If these surgeries are successful, you kind of get the vigorousness and athletic levels of which you can work are not really any different than what you could, if you didn't have any injury. There's some movement restriction. You're not going to go and want us doing a lot of toe touchers every morning and any kind of bending. And I'll just tell you, because each vertebrae in your spine, as you bend forward, touch your toes or something, each vertebrae bends 1 or 2 degrees, and then cumulatively you can touch your toes. I used to be one of those guys, in my shoes, I could put my palms flat on the floor back in my Taekwondo days. And I've kept up with the training. I could do palms flat on the floor, even for, 5-10 years after. And eventually it was just in my bare feet, I could put my palms flat on the floor. And then it was, but I have not been allowed to bend for 15 years, so 10 years. So now I get my hands down to my shins, and it's sad. I don't get mad at myself because I had no choice. It was that or have a really mangled spine, which I'd rather not do. So I gave up on the flexibility, which is what it is. That's something you lose with this. So you have to accept your losses and move on. Sometimes there's a little divorce wisdom in there too. Just accept it, know it for what it is, and move on and get your life back. That's always my preference. That's always my advice. But anyway, so going on about the surgical treatment, everything at B&H Hospital was fantastic. The doctors were great. Ended up joking with the anesthesiologist about how long it would take me to knock out, and I don't remember his joke. So Fawn was great. Fawn's mom was great. They took turns and shifts and stayed with me for 5 or 6 days while I was in the hospital recovering before I was allowed to go home. I was encumbered with care, which is fine. And the hospital facilities were impressive. All the doctors and the nurses were very impressive. I tell you, for a guy dating, those nurses, I'm telling you, I'm at the hospitals all the time because of all my things, and a lot of very worthwhile seeming, very pretty young ladies, and some of them definitely letting you know that you're of interest to them. So I'm taken. It means nothing to me. But if you're a single guy, boy, that's not a bad place to meet somebody. Maybe skin your knee or something. But no, the hospital was great. Even the food was good. Just a first-class experience. I would say more attentiveness than I'm used to in the States even. You get the nurses in your room all the time just checking on you. Very cautious. I think the Thai culture medically and about health and stuff is very cautious. Kind of worrywarts, I would say, to me as a layperson. But it was a great experience. And as I've said in other videos, it probably, versus having it at home, it was at least probably $5 to $10 grand more, if not 15 grand more, somewhere in that range to have the surgery here than have it back home. Because still back home, I'd have to again pay for the rentals and all that. And then here I got all the follow-up care with Fawn and her family, and I was in the village wearing my big brace, which the shirt's covering. I'm not going to show it to you. And basically not even allowed to walk for weeks beyond just going to the bathroom and back. I was just laying on the bed. They want that fusion to really stick because this is the second time trying it. So we're going to try and make sure we get it. So, that's really on surgery and on medical tourism here. I would say, I would just say it was phenomenal. And so far I'm healing and I'm good. And I'll do an update, in another month or so. On this. As for the rest of it, we've got Christmas coming up. We have Christmas coming up soon here in Thailand, which will be nice. Now I'm mobile. I can go to dinner. I just wear my brace under my shirt. I'm going to do the Christmas dinner at the Monkey Bar, which is always phenomenal. That's always so nice. And it's Christmas dinner without all the family politics and relatives that don't really, care about you. They just want to gossip or show off or something. All that petty. Why do we never get beyond that? How does that happen that we don't get beyond that? But I don't get any of that. And they truly they do a phenomenal home cooked meal that's like the best Christmas meal you've ever had in your life. And I do that with me and Fawn, and she's rather pleasant company for that. One of my friends here. A guy, he's I think the second oldest guy here after me. We get along great. Always inviting me out with him and stuff, which I just politely decline. I just can't drink much. If I was more able, I probably would, but I just can't. Too old now. But no, that's it. Other than that, I'm glad to be back and back to making content. The channel's fine. Probably wrap up this year with pretty close to or right around 8,000 subscribers. The amount of subscribers, the channel growth this year was rather big. I think the channel tripled this year. Some channels go viral and if I put up all the bar girl content and all that, which you guys I think are bored of hearing and I'm bored of talking about, and there's the little that I even talk about it, I know it'd be a lot bigger because all the channels that are big, that's all they do. And but I don't care. I'm just going to keep doing my little cultural journey documenting channel here, and I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'm not bending to anything, so that's going to be that. And that's it. I think short video. I've got a lot of bonus content. I'll probably edit, maybe even talk over a little bit here and there. So just thanks everyone. I appreciate all the positive comments. And as soon as I say this, I'm going to have a problem. But I appreciate that I haven't had to ban anybody. I think I've banned one person in the last 2 months. Normally it's 2 or 3 a month, every month. It's like clockwork. And I think in the last 2 or 3 months I banned one person who just went off on. Oh. It was obviously somebody, let's just say, from back from the divorce, found my channel, and they got 3 comments and another thing, and I just banned. I don't need that negativity, and I'm not trying to imply it was any one particular person, but it was somebody from that time period that was obviously on the other side, and it was just kind of comical that some people will go to their grave arguing with everybody. I guess it's everyone's choice. This is very, very, this is what I would call an eminently reasonable option for a retirement. I've really acclimated, and this is peaceful. And I want to do something on retirement. I have a different angle of looking at it emotionally, and like a loneliness and the isolation that you get in retirement, and back home and versus here. Because I'm going to tell you a punchline. I don't think it's any different. I'm going to talk about why, but I don't think it's any different. I don't think, I think I'm definitely happier here because I get to really live my life. Anyways, thanks everyone. Bye. Make sure we're good. Got a little shirt for the king. I haven't done that as much as I should have probably. Got both of my tabian rot all in Thai. Paratwa lan tabian rot. Put pasa angret my die. That's not exactly correct, but you get the idea. But yeah, you got to use your Thai to do that around here. I'm sure in Bangkok they'll address you in English with a British accent or something, but in the village, you better know some frickin' Thai. Got some snacks, gave some snacks to Fawn's dad. And I got to finish wrapping up my 10 best movies by Vincent Price on my YouTube video I've been watching, and then I think I'm going to watch Shin Godzilla for the 57th time. That's like my favorite movie. And gonna have a big fat cigar and a bourbon because I don't want to go to the surgery with probably a ton of nicotine or alcohol in my system. It's probably not a good idea, huh? Yeah, so I think we'll make this afternoon the last hurrah. I was kind of thinking I'd maybe just hit the restaurant at the hotel, but then it's like, what if my surgery goes south? Could be my last meal. Better go to the good one. Kim Kit Olay. Oh, cow. Just laying here in my hospital bed. I just got off the phone with Fawn's aunt, a super traditional Thai woman, super traditional good village Thai woman, and it's fascinating to me that I can talk to her, and that it's most fascinating that she wants to talk to me, that she calls me to check on me. That I am on her radar. I think it's cute, and it's so incongruous for at any part of my life would I have ever thought that I'd be chatting with a 100% authentic village woman in rural Thailand. It's crazy, but I really like it, and oh well, interesting. Well, obviously we've had the surgery and I survived, but spoiler alert. All right, out of the hospital, barely walking, but I'm walking. And Fawn is pretty smart, very smart. She is not trusting me and her mom to navigate the airport correctly, get the right tickets, which we got to exchange, I should say. So she sent her sister, who is kind of the air travel expert of the family, to physically meet us at the airport. She's pushing my cart of bags for me. All I got to do is waddle along behind everybody and pay for what they tell me to pay for, which I am perfectly happy in this role. So, when you're with good people, this is the kind of stuff you get. The hospital experience was fantastic. I'll talk more about that later. I'm tired already, gotta go. I just walked a quarter of a kilometer and I'm tired. I bought a Diet 7-Up, a couple of peanuts. More importantly, I bought 3 Diet chai teas. And I gave one to Paul and Mom's mom and dad, and her cousin Yui, and a bunch of officials visiting the relative. By coincidence, I just didn't know that. I happened to be walking over delivering stuff, and so they looked very good having their son-in-law deliver them snacks. I had a snack for Paul as well. So, you know, just little stuff that goes a long way, right? Thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you've watched this far, please consider hitting like and subscribe.